Hello and welcome to this Huddersfield Town special with me, your host, Stephen Downs, and I'm always joined on these specials by my co-presenter, producer, and absolutely extraordinaire, Callum Scott. Hi, Callum. How you doing, mate?
What an introduction that was. I'm very well.
Well, the last time we were on with two Leeds fans, and basically, I would say that we were the happier team, to be honest, which was amazing to say that our club had just been relegated to League One.
I would
Yeah,
probably agree, actually.
a lot has happened since our last discussion, Callum, live on air. We've had a statement, an open letter, a diary, a manager that's left our football club. So there's a lot to get into, mate. What a way to start the summer. Chaos as usual at Huddersfield Town Football Club. We won't want it any other way, though. We'll be boring if not what happened. I think, firstly, what we'll do is we'll start with the big news. So, on obviously Andre Breitenreiter, we didn't know whether he was going to stay or whether he was going to go. We have now found out that he has gone, and they've come to a mutual decision between himself and Kevin Nagel that he will no longer be manager of Huddersfield Town Football Club. I'll just read the statement, Callum, for anybody that's not seen it, and if you haven't, where have you been and have you been under a rock? But Huddersfield Town and Andre Breitenreiter have agreed to part ways by mutual consent. We can confirm that Huddersfield Town and Andre Breitenreiter have today agreed to part ways by mutual consent. Breitenreiter joined the club in February 2024 with the German coach overseeing just 13 fixtures in the Sky Bet Championship as head coach, winning twice. Following the conclusion of the 2023-24 season and a confirmation of our relegation to Sky Bet League One, positive discussions were held between the club and Andre regarding the future. However, with time, it became evident that it was in the best interests of both parties to amicably partner, and Chairman Kevin Nagel commented, "I have enjoyed the opportunity to work with Andre over the past 3 months, and he departs with our best wishes while contingencies in place have seen our recruitment process for a new head coach advance. Supporters should rest assured that all discussions made are with the best intentions of our football club in mind, and we look forward to moving in a positive manner and with a new head coach dedicated to our ideals and vision, with our plans for pre-season and ambitions for the year are unmoved." So that came on, when did that come through? That came through on Saturday evening at around 6 p.m. You've got Friday evening, at 6 p.m. Callum, you've had 2 days to mull over that piece of news before we get into everything else. What's your reaction to what's unfolded there with the head coach?
You say we've had 2 days. We've had 2 days where it's been official, but I think quite a lot of us have known or at least expected it to come. You know what I mean? It was a classic sort of Huddersfield Town fiasco, so to speak. So a supporter sees him on a flight to Germany.
Doesn't want to take a selfie of him because he's afraid.
No, yeah. So just has a picture with himself on the plane, almost to prove that he was on the plane, which I sort of rate. But
do you remember? But just before you carry on, do you remember that picture once of Dean Hoyle in a restaurant, and it was like, do you remember it? Came out on. It was the most secretive picture ever, wasn't it? Do you remember?
He was with people, wasn't he?
Was it with a manager or a signing? I can't remember.
One of the two, I can't remember.
But like people were trying to like separate pixels within the image to work out who he was with. It was mad. Well, yeah, carry on. Yeah, it was a bit like that. Like all you could see was the top of the chair and trying to work out if it was Breitenreiter's back of his head or whatever.
Quiffed up hair, but no. It was a bit of a classic fiasco, and then when you think, oh god, he's going back to Germany we didn't know why, and then the club came out and said that, or was it the club or Nagel that came out and said that he was going to spend some time with his family and talk it over?
Yeah.
And you just thought, right, if he has to talk it over, it's probably going to be a no, innit?
Yeah. Yeah, I did think at the time, right, so he's gone there to think. That's fine. He's got to consult his family because his family are not over in England. They haven't been over to England while he's been the head coach, as far as I'm aware. And so I erred on the side of caution of whether he would stay. Obviously, we can get into how he sort of left things at the club, but I'm not overly surprised, and it doesn't sound like you are, Callum, either, really.
I'm not, and I don't think you can. I can't be surprised, and quite a few Town fans will probably disagree with this, but I don't feel like I can be disappointed because I don't know the man well enough to be disappointed in his decision. It's just another notch on the merry-go-round, shall we say? And I wish him all the best in wherever he ends up, but League One clearly was below him, or so he thought, and probably was right, to be fair, with his CV.
Yeah, so just to remind Town fans what Andre had said after both the Birmingham and, I believe, the Ipswich game, that basically he'd never managed in Peru, that's fact, and that he, I didn't think that he wanted to fight, really, Callum. I got that impression after the in those interviews that really, does he want to be playing Crawley or Crewe in League One? He probably, I don't think he even knows where half these teams are in the country, to be honest. So, it's kind of like he can go back to Germany, probably get a progressive job back in Germany or Switzerland or Austria or somewhere in sort of Central Europe, and be paid reasonably well to that extent. So I for him, like, I think there was some I don't know if Andre actually said it, but there was some comment about his reputation being damaged back in Germany. So, for him, it probably makes sense that he didn't want to really come back, to be honest.
Well, it's like, I know we've mentioned this on the previous episode that we did, but the comments that he made where he explicitly said that if he'd known about the problems at the club, would he have taken the job? Probably not. So I think he feels that this has been a little bit of a backward step in terms of his own career, and that's a damning indictment of where we are as a squad, as a club, that a relatively talented manager has come into that team, and to him it has felt like his career is not even standing still, it's actively moving backwards.
Yeah, yeah. And to, reflect on his time, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because, like, we obviously, the start of the season we had Warnock, but we could reflect on what Warnock had done at the end of the previous season. Darren Moore was just an unmitigated disaster that should have never happened. And I don't care what anybody says, like, the points per game compared to Andre is hard. It is amazing because there's only 0.10 in it, Callum, between his 13 games and Darren Moore's 21 games. But my God, we saw some in the 21 games. We saw some crap football. We also saw some crap football in the last 13 games with Andre in charge. But probably you will point to the Watford game and maybe the Leeds game as two standout performances in what was a sea of poor performances overall, really, with Andre in charge.
Yeah, and if it was more than those games, you could probably make a case for the fact that he was at points getting the players on side and getting them playing a way that they could do. 2 games, one of them being Leeds at home. It doesn't take much to get a team up for games like that.
Yeah.
And they were just outliers in terms of performance, whatever they were. There were anomalies that wouldn't be repeated again. So yeah, it's difficult to compare the two because you're essentially comparing what was the long-term plan with a man that was brought in essentially to extinguish the the fire that Darren Moore had set in the club. But yeah, I think it's a difficult one to assess. Certainly, Andre's progress because we barely knew him.
Do you feel like not that he's the Scottish, the German version of Fotheringham, sorry, but because they're poles apart in football and philosophy, and well, one's a scaffolder from Scotland and one's actually won something, but do you feel like they'll always be remembered for what happened and what was said off the pitch rather than what was produced on the pitch?
I think Fotheringham will be remembered for what happened off the pitch because of the hilarious viral video of his 18 accents. I don't think Breitenreiter will be remembered particularly at all.
No.
Because it's a footnote on what has been a very, very disappointing season overall. And what can you say about the Breitenreiter leadership, even in years to come? What will you remember? What were the standout points?
Well, just more about the fact that just more about him calling out players and some of the things that he said, which was quite really outlandish, to be fair.
Yeah, it was, and it's certainly the first time I've ever seen it at Town. But what he was saying is fixed with one good transfer window.
Yeah,
and then that goes away. Then them comments are forgotten.
Do you get on board with this idea that he's been a bit of a coward for going? He said all this stuff and then decided, well, I don't want to be part of it, even though he kept saying, change is the only way forward.
Well, I mean, I understand to a certain extent fans' annoyance at the fact that we've gone out, we've spent money on this manager, and then we've parted company with him, which I assume means that he gets a payoff. I'm not sure actually what he signed on, the length of the deal.
Well, he signed on a 2.5-year deal, but obviously you don't know whether there's clauses in the contract or anything to say, look, if relegation happens or if we decide to part ways before this date. There's all sorts of clauses in football now, isn't there, on both sides of the agreement. So who knows?
And for me, there was always, and this may be just me, but it never felt like Andre was the long-term plan. It felt like he was. No, I don't think so, because he was brought in at a time where he couldn't bring. It was quite clear that we needed somebody then and there to try and get results quickly. His style of football points to fast-flowing, attacking football, which is what the owners wanted to see. They hadn't banked on the fact that the players wouldn't be able to deliver that. And for me, it was only once we started to slide, it was only going to end one way.
Yeah, I think it was after the Coventry game for me, Cal, where I thought, we're looking pretty bad now, aren't we? It was a case of where were the positives, and there weren't really any, were they, after that game particularly? And obviously then, the build up to the Swansea and the Birmingham game, and then everybody after the Swansea game was like, right, it's finished, it's just done.
That was probably the worst. But also, I will say, even obviously after the Millwall game, we were all bouncing at the last minute winner. But once you took a step back from that and you actually analysed the rest of the game, we were god awful then as well. And I started to worry then that the only reason that we were able to snatch a win off Millwall was that they were equally as bad as us, if not worse, on the day.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, that game was such a turgid Championship, bottom of the class football game.
But there was no reason why we couldn't get the players up for that game, and we couldn't play better than what we did.
No.
The fact that it seemed like the writing was on the wall or in the process of being put on the wall. I'm not
But it's down to quality, Cal, at the end of the day, and that showed within that game that if you had a side that had a bit of quality about them, that was up for the fight, then you probably would get I know we did get a result over the line in that one, but like the Bristol City game is a perfect example in it. I know the heartache at the end and all that, but you get games like that over the line, don't you, where the opposition's not quite at it, and we have a bit more quality about us. Thanks for everybody commenting on board and obviously watching us live. We've had a few here. We're going to get to who to replace Andre in a little while. Thanks for Ian's comment, usual regular show watcher. Much appreciated, mate. What did Nagel say about Andre leaving? Was he surprised? I don't. Who knows? I mean, he came out and he said that Andre was his number one choice. But I mean, even
he's going to have to say that, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
no matter who he picks.
Yeah, I mean, but I would have thought Kevin would be surprised, be not surprised after a couple of days of harmony, and it became pretty obvious, didn't it? Thanks to Michael Brown for his comment. Nigel Pearson is being talked about, and same here with Blue Terrier 19, seen on that site down at the Mac. That they are expecting a new manager within a week. I think Nigel Pearson is the right person.
Just take your time, for God's sake.
We'll get to that in a minute. Mark Harrison, very disappointed effort by Andre in the end. I was expecting much more. Perhaps he was the right man at the wrong time and could have been more effective as a builder through pre-season. Yeah, well, that's an interesting comment, Cal. I think, there is that tag of the right man at the wrong time. Probably if you've got a squad that with players that are bouncing around the training ground, really excited for pre-season, having a proper pre-season in place rather than let's be honest, a piss up at Cornwall, and some golfing lessons. I think then Andre probably was the right man. But we'll never know that, will we?
No, I do completely agree with Mark's comment there. It was disappointing, but I think for quite a lot of it, he was trying to get square pegs in round holes. He was playing with a squad that didn't want to be there. Confidence was on the floor, and there's only so much as a manager you can do to try and arrest that. All that being said, I don't think we saw enough. Of even the trying to arrest that. It seemed, especially upon reflection of his comments now, it seemed like if any players were giving him trouble, he'd sort of let it go, make a note of it, and then spill it out to BBC Radio Leeds.
It did seem like that, didn't it?
It was a bit like he'd caught like a mental vendetta against certain players, and that were it.
Yeah, I mean, we have had one of these the so-called bad eggs comment on Instagram, which I'm going to read out in a minute.
Yes.
Jay, obviously Leeds United contributor to the show. He's seen Mark Hughes in McDonald's. He said that to me 5 times through this week so far. I don't know if he's meeting up with Mark Hughes regularly. Nice to see that Leeds fans watching a town special though. Interesting. Not obsessed at all. Good luck against Norwich. We've also had Rich, who says that Xavi Alonso should be in the frame. I think he's got more important fish to fry. To be fair,
I don't think we could afford to appoint Xavi Alonso's left sock.
No. His left sock is too expensive.
That being said, it would have probably more tactical nous than Mark Fotheringham. So.
Probably. Right, so we'll get on to the bad egg comment. I don't know if you've seen this, Cal.
I have. If this is what I think it is, I have seen it.
Yeah, social media. So Mr. Delano Bergzorg, quite vociferous on social media within his time at town. He posted an interesting comment on Instagram. couple of days ago. I think it was quite recently after the news of Andre leaving, actually.
Yes.
So he's gone. Last words, Della. Thanks for the support this season. Doesn't matter how you treat me in the last weeks. I always be thankful and always gave 100%. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it at the end, but HTFC will be back stronger. All the best in the future, Terriers up the town. P.S. Don't believe everything what you hear if you don't see it with your own eyes. When the heat is on, you should stick together, not walk away from it.
I think he's talking about us.
What? The
I
supporters?
think in that last bit, he's listening to the West Yorkshire Football Show, giving him pelters every week.
Yeah, so obviously Delano Bergzorg is one of the people that pretty much we all worked out that Andre was on about at the end of the season, saying, you know, basically that people were tossing it off in training, not putting effort in, not really trying, and you know his buddies, or what seemingly are Delano's buddies in Thomas and Jack Radoni, reacted to the Instagram post in various ways. Callum, what was your reaction to Del Boy's version of events?
Just leave quietly. Just out the door. You're not good enough to warrant a goodbye post like you were the second coming of James Vaughan, because you weren't. Right. It just smacks of somebody that's got some negative criticism that obviously he doesn't agree with, or that he feels is unfair, which obviously he's going to do. But it wasn't unfair. It was entirely justified from where I'm sitting, which is normally behind the goal, as I've watched Delano Bergzorg fail to square the ball and put it into the side netting once again.
You know them training things that they have on FIFA. You know where you kick it against the board and you've got to go get your player to run after it. But I don't think Delano ever worked out how to do that. You know, it was
think his little character will just run towards the goal, and even when it reaches the goal, it will just keep running.
Never stop. Just break through the net.
Stops. Just there, it's gone. Yeah, but I don't know. I just think, you know, back to Mainz. And it doesn't look like, actually, as was wide reported at the time, it doesn't look like we've actually got that loan
£1
to buy.
million. Yeah, £1 million fee it was. I mean, he's not worth $1 million, is he? He's not worth $1 million.
For him.
I mean, does he go down where does he go down in the loan history of Huddersfield Town Football Club? He probably comes in the top 5 worst loans, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think he quite gets in the top 5 worst players of all time, but you know, because he does actually have some talent, whatever that might be. But yeah. Even if it's right encrypted Instagram posts, you know, he's got some talent.
I mean, between him and Sober Thomas, we've got 2 influencers on the team.
Just not influencing in the right way.
Events on the football pitch, just
yeah. So yeah, I wasn't too impressed with Delano's. You know, he's got a right to reply. That's fine. That's, you know, we don't live in Russia with Putin, do we? You know, he does have a right to reply, and if he disagrees with what Andre said, then that's fair enough. And he's obviously made his feelings plain. Whether he's done that in training will be interesting to know. But it's now giving some of these bad eggs, Cal, with a new manager coming in, maybe the chance to stay at the club. Where I think the only negative with Andre going is that it means that Andre knew who he would probably want to get out the door, and now there's a new manager coming in, so it's giving them players another chance to possibly worm their way back into the side.
I'm not too worried about that because I think that anybody that watched, obviously a new manager would do a bit of background research into the way that we were playing. Anybody that saw that would see that there is a change, big changes are needed, and I think the chairman will expect that. I know the fans definitely expect it. So, I mean, with those aside, we are sort of leaving out the fact that I don't think these players will want to stay around the squad. I don't think they'll want to worm their way back in. I think at this point, the fans have sussed them out for what they are, and once that happens, once you lose the fans, it's game over for me.
Can the fans? Can they not? Can they not get the fans back? You don't think?
I don't think fully.
I don't think Thomas could. I think Radoni probably could. I don't think Thomas can.
No, I think it's gone past the point of redemption for them now because we've had moments where players have done stupid things and the fans have gone, well, it's worth it for what they're putting out on the pitch. Whereas now, this season, or certainly the end of the season, they're not worth the hassle that they're creating outside of football because they're not performing well enough on the football pitch.
Yeah. Again, thanks for everybody putting the comments in. Ian, is it time to go away from the German model? Well, we'll come on to who we feel might be the best person to take over Andre in the next few minutes. Rich, again, please take Farker offers. No, you're all right, Tar. We got Ross Gibson, one of my friends. Although if he keeps putting comments like this, then he won't be my friend for much longer. Scunthorpe, Jimmy Dean's after the job apparently. Yeah, okay. In your dreams, lad. In your dreams. Stick to your North. What are they in? The Fish and Chip League now or something at Scunthorpe. Well, they are, aren't they? Fisherman Friends Northern Division 1A table or whatever.
Southwest East.
Yeah, Southwest Eastern. Yeah. Blue Terrier 19, you don't need to have been around the place for any length of time to work out who the bagged eggs are. No, that's probably right, but it was brave of Andre to come out and say it when there was still points on the board to survive. That's what I take away from Andre, Cal. But he had some bottle in that respect. He just didn't have bottle to continue the job that he'd started to do.
I think that maybe were another moment, another hint that he wasn't sticking around. That essentially, in one of his final press conferences, he just took a bottle of petrol, poured it all over the playing squad, and set fire to it, and then walked out. It's like, right, there you go. Goodbye. You'll never see me again. Goodbye. It's all terrible. They're all awful people. You'll never see me again. Goodbye.
Yeah. Fair play. Right, well, we'll go on to the list of potential managers. I mean, Callum has thrown his hat into the ring, by the way. That's live
off already.
Live breaking news.
Oh.
Yeah, live breaking news. What style of player would you go for, Cal? The gegenpress, the more, sort of Scunthorpe United, lump it up feel,
4-2-3-1, gegenpress, very Wagner.
Right, very Wagner. Okay. So the potentials, in all seriousness, for the next managerial job, we'll go through them slightly one by one. We won't go for like the 50 choices. We'll only go, say, the top 10 of Odds Checker. And that's the website I'm going off. In first position so far, the favourite, Callum, Liam Rosenior, sacked by Hull City, weirdly, for getting near to the playoffs earlier last week. A strange decision, but one that probably will backfire on them, no doubt. Your thoughts on Liam Rosenior being the favourite? To me, I would go out and pay him every bit of gold we've got in the John Smith Stadium.
I would sell Kevin Nagel for Liam Rosenior.
That doesn't work because Kevin's our chairman.
I'd make him leave all his money behind and then sell him. I think he's an early favourite because he's recently been sacked and we're recently looking for a new manager. I don't think there's anything in it, but I would love for him to come. I think he's brilliant.
What about this passing out from the back, though? What we're saying, there's some fans a bit jittery about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'd take the job having looked at our defence, and I don't think he'd take the job thinking, yeah, there's nothing I would change there. They are perfectly capable. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think, right, you look at our defence, and it is about as far away as possible as you could possibly get from a Liam Rossini passing out from the backside. Like, I'm pretty sure there's League Two defences that have better, passing ability than some of our lads. Well, not naming names, obviously.
Not naming names. I mean, I'm not going to mention Scunthorpe again, but I reckon we could have a look and we could see some good contributions.
He hasn't commented back since we've ripped Scunthorpe apart, so that's good. I played the other day on the Glamper Park pitch. Very nice pitch, by the way. Terrific football club, to be fair to him. Next one down, Nigel Pearson.
Harry Redknapp, sorry. Terrific little player. Terrific little football club.
I should have had like a car window around me.
To be fair to him. Terrific.
We've got Nigel Pearson next up on the rolling ladder. Now, to be fair, the first two choices, right? You've got Liam Rossini, who plays out from the back, modern style of football. Modern management. Knows the players recently, not that long ago since retirement. And then you've got Nigel Pearson, who's the old hand, the Warnock-esque, giving rollickings out in the changing rooms, calling journalists or ostriches.
Honestly, I don't think I'd be able to take it seriously, only because I listened to Bob Mortimer's podcast, and he's got a character of Nigel Pearson that's just always trying to fight people. And I don't think I'd be able to watch it seriously.
See, I quite like the idea of having Pearson. I don't think he's as bad a manager as what people make out. You have to give credit to his past achievements, to be fair. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, he had millions of pounds at Leicester. He had a lot of money at Leicester, but he also built that side, to be fair. He built the side that won the Premier League when they were in the Championship. So I'm not saying he's going to do that with us, by the way, but he's not the worst choice in the world when you look at this list, is he, Cal? Come on.
No, he's not. And there are much worse managers out there, probably 3 of whom we've had this season.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely not shaking, I'm not shaking my head at any of them, but I just think we've got a chance here to do something, get the fans back on side, and I just don't think that Nigel Pearson football is going to get people off their seat.
No. Third on the list is Steve Cooper. I mean, you've more chance of me becoming the next town manager than Steve Cooper, I think. But he's third on the list. I don't think town fans are to Steve Cooper because of the obvious. I mean, what's your opinion of Steve Cooper?
I think he'd be a really good manager, and I would really enjoy the football. The downside of that being I despise him as a man.
Not as much as Gary Monk, maybe, but yeah. Fourth on the list is a manager that has probably gone for the job more times than anybody else in the universe, in Michael Duff. Probably applied 17 times and has been rejected for the last 4 of them. So I just don't see Michael Duff becoming the next town manager, but he's fourth on the list. Mike Williamson, in charge of MK Dons, we'd have to probably pay a fee to get him. They've just failed in the playoffs.
So they just lost 8-1 in the playoffs.
But he's fifth on the town list. Hey!
Right.
We also got Alex Neil, ex-Stoke. He's sixth.
No.
Dave Challoner. Is it Challoner?
Dave Challoner, yeah.
Challoner, obviously Crawley Town. Oh no, is it Stockport or Crawley? Sorry, I can't remember. Stockport, yeah. So you got Stockport promoted. We're going to be playing them next season. Would he leave a positive Stockport county to come to
a negative Huddersfield Town?
And what could be perceived as a negative Huddersfield Town?
I don't think he wants to. Why would you quit while you're doing that well? I don't understand that at all. I think that speaks volumes of where Huddersfield are at the moment. That would be a sideways step for him.
Yeah, 7. So he was 7th on the list. Gareth Ainsworth, 8th on the list.
No.
I'd rather take Jazz than Gareth
That's
Ainsworth.
Goodbye to rock and roll football, definitively there.
I'm sure that Lee Nichols will be disappointed to realise he won't be doing the hacker anytime soon. Grant McCann, 9th. I mean, he'd done well at Donny. He's failed at the last hurdle, but they did win the last 10 games. I think 11 games of the season. They went on an unbelievable run. I mean, he got them from second bottom, Cal, to in touching distance of getting to a playoff final. So he has done well with them this season, but he's been at Hull before, not done amazing.
Yeah, he wasn't brilliant at Hull. Which was surprising because you normally think when a manager's got more experience to play with, more money to throw at things, they'd take it in their stride, but it didn't seem to happen for him. He looked a worse manager at a bigger club than he does at smaller teams. So,
yeah. Carl Robinson, no. Lee Johnson, definitely no. Paul Cook at Chesterfield. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No. Do you want 12th in League One?
No, I'll tell you what I want. I want a West Yorkshire Football Show sweepstake on how many times his voice will change in a press conference. That's what I want.
Well, we'll find out when he's
Look at what we could have won.
Definitely appointed when he's appointed next week. Paul Heckingbottom. Paul Heckingbottom. I think he's previously been mentioned, but then you never know in conversations.
Well, he was favourite for the job before Andre came in, wasn't he?
I'm sure there was a rumour on down at Mac or something that somebody said that he turned us down. So, why? If he's turning us down in the Championship, I don't see him coming to League One.
Yeah, I don't. I think it'll be a backward step for me to manage Huddersfield Town in the Championship. Come back to me when you're in League One.
Michael Beale. My God, I'd actually rather a cup of Bovril managers than Michael Beale.
I would rather Gareth Ainsworth managers than Michael Beale. Jesus.
Peter Wild, done well at Barrow. Could be an interesting choice. Plays some good football up at Barrow.
I don't think he's got the. No, I don't know. We've said that before about managers, but I don't think he's got the experience to take it on just yet.
Neil Lennon. That was it. That was him in the photograph, wasn't it? Do you remember? With Dean. I'm sure it was Neil Lennon.
Was it?
I'm sure it was Neil Lennon.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find this now, for God's sake.
I'm sure it was Neil Lennon. If we can find the photograph, we'll put it up on Twitter. Neil Lennon. Leighton Baines. Is he a manager? He's at 20 to. Yeah, Leighton Baines is on odds checker at 20-1. Is he a manager? Okay.
I don't think he's ever been a manager, has he?
Don't know where that's come from. Gary Rowett, 20-1. I mean, it depends what happens with Mowbray, doesn't it?
I mean, I wouldn't want Gary Rowett, I don't think, but I would want Tony Mowbray, so I'm not sure how that works. But
okay, so obviously when you get to the odds, by the way, you get to like 20-1 people, and they're unlikely, but you still sort of got an idea of what they've done, right? The next three, I don't. Why are they on this list? We've got Luke Gerrard at Boreham Wood. We've got Keith Curl at Hartlepool, and Richie Wellens 25 to
Oh,
1. And then we've gone to Hasselhooten, who says that he never wants to be a manager again, at 25 to 1. Paul Hurst at Shrewsbury, and Neil Warnock at 25 to 1.
Neil Warnock's only 25 to 1. That's worth a fiver.
And
And
then there's
of anyone's money.
Nathan Rooney, Matt Warburton, Andrew Crofts, Alex Raya, Justin Cochrane at 25. Who the hell's he?
Who are these people?
Jonathan Woodgate.
Oh, there we go. There's a real manager.
Oh, no. Yeah, I've not seen this guy on the list for ages. So, Gus
Can I have a
Poyet.
guess? Can I have a guess? Is it Carlos Calvajal?
No.
Oh.
Gus Poyet, 25 to 1.
Whoa. Is he still going?
I don't know.
I don't mean he's dead. I know he's very much alive. I just mean, is he still managing football?
His last managerial job was Greece, apparently. Or is
Oh,
Greece.
yeah, he did all right with Greece, yeah.
Oh, we'll have him then. If he's done well with Greece, we'll have him. Other ones on the list at the moment, Gary Bowyer, Dean Holden, Damien Duff, Anthony Barry, Mark Hughes at Bradford, 25 to 1. There you go, Jay. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Wayne Rooney, 33 to 1. Wayne Rooney.
How is Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank coming in above Wayne Rooney?
John Terry, 33 to 1. Marty
Cifuentes.
No. Marty. Oh, yeah, with Fuentes. Sorry, I can't pronounce his name.
I'd take
33. He's 33 to 1. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, 33 to 1.
Ollie's at the wheel. It's HFC.
Did he just chuck anybody's name on there? Simon Grayson.
At the bottom of that list is going to be Dean Hoyle, Phil Hodgkinson, and Mr. Magoo.
Bottom of the list. We've got Ishmael Cartel. Right.
Roy Keane. Bet Roy Keane's in there.
Graham Potter, 33 to 1. Graham Murty, 33 to 1. Frank Lampard, 33 to 1. Fatih Terim of Galatasaray, yeah, because I'm really sure he's heard of town in League One, 33 to 1. Errol Bully, yeah, because he's going to leave Cardiff, innit? Why is he on that list? Why would he leave Cardiff to come and manage Town in League One? Absolute madness. Danny Rose on the list. Yeah, 33 to 1.
So, Danny, you know the league that you just escaped relegation from? Yeah, do you want to come and manage in it?
Carlos Carvajal, 33 to 1. There you go.
On the list. I knew he'd be on the list.
We've had some fun there. Frank Lampard is also looking to get back into the frame of management, according to Michael Brown. I'm sure he is, but I'm sure it's not at League One Town. Gaz has commented, Bradford City, your best bet is Pearson. Well, he's second on the list. We've looked at pretty much all the names there, Cal. Who are we going for?
Liam Rosenior.
Do you think he'll come?
Not a chance. No way.
So who do you think on that list will? I mean, to be fair, Breitenreiter wasn't even on the list on the last time, so it could be anybody again. But
we'll probably try and appoint Robbie Keane or someone like that.
I'd love Roy Keane to be our manager. It just would make no sense. Can you imagine that?
You thought Breitenreiter going to the press was bad. That'd be weekly under Roy.
just on Stick to Football every week. Well, I think he's a rubbish, and he's crap, and he don't know what he's doing.
That's his job. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe Nigel Pearson would be good, but I have reservations about that because I sort of have it in my head that we want to play an attacking style of football in League One.
What are you saying? He don't play it?
I'm saying he tries, but I just don't think that the sort of players that he'd be able to attract to a League One football team and that he would want would necessarily be able to carry out the best iteration of attacking football, shall we say?
I think I know it's unrealistic, don't get me wrong, but if we actually did go out and get Rossini, we'd have to be, and he got the dressing room sorted, and he got all the perceived knobheads out, and he got the ones, and he got players in that he actually wanted, because I think he can attract footballers. You know, he knows how to speak to people, doesn't he? I don't see what if we got him in charge. I don't see why we couldn't have a tilt for going back up, mate.
No, I definitely don't. If he's backed well enough, which I assume will have to be a sort of a condition of him taking the job, if he does take the job, I don't see why not, because his problem at Hull was that he took them over in relegation trouble, managed to save them from relegation, and then the season after that got them to 7th. So he was clearly trying to build something, and then the ownership have just gone, nah.
Yeah.
So if we allow him the time to be able to do that with us, if not the first season, why not the second, you know?
We've got some breaking news on the show, by the way. Blue Terrier seems to know who the next manager is. So come on, whoever you are.
It's Mark Fotheringham. Yeah,
he's back again. So if you want to give us who you feel is Blue Terrier, please do tell us. James Milner's actually watching. Not that James Milner.
Oh, James.
He's asked him. Do you want to become our new manager, James?
Leeds reject. Oh.
Okay, slightly got this show's slightly gone off topic now.
It's derailed.
It
was Mark Fotheringham.
Love it. Well done. It's not. He's joking. He's joking. We also got a statement.
I'm going to unrenew that season ticket if it
is. So obviously within the whole week, Cal, we've had season ticket prices renewed. We'll come on to that next. A good decision by the club. They have stuck with the original prices that of £249. Of hard-earned money going towards League One football next year. But it is the same price as what we had last season. Through all the talk of putting season tickets up by £100, £80, £60, whatever it was going to be, having zones where you would have each seat at an individual price to then sections of supporters, in the Britannia Rescue paying a £5 more than people in the South Stand. It's now the same price everywhere as it was last season. A good decision by the club. We've got to praise the club for that, haven't we?
Oh, definitely. No one was more surprised than me to see them prices come out. But then, by the same token, no one was happier because, you'd heard, and as did whoever else watched it, my quite impassioned anger at even the mere suggestion that the season ticket prices might be going up. So it was a good decision by the club, but I don't think they had any other option, really.
No.
You're trying to flog a dead horse, and then you're trying to charge us more money for that dead horse.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen, is it?
To all, vegans and vegetarians out there and eco-friendly people, there was no horses involved in the season ticket prices. But yeah, it was a good decision by the club. I've already renewed, Cal. Have you?
I haven't, but that's only because I haven't been paid yet.
Oh, all right. Well, that's all right then. Cal's going to be there next. Cal's going to be there next season with his drum. Onto the other part of the big news. So obviously, after the Ipswich game, we were waiting for some sort of statement from the board and Kevin himself. We got a very flavoursome open letter, let's call it. It was kind of like when you open the fruit pastels packet, you have all the all the colours to choose from. They're not necessarily the colours that you want, but it's a nice packet of fruit pastels all the same.
That was beautiful.
We got some news about Austria, saying that we were going to do a pre-season of golf and a piss up in Austria rather than in Cornwall. So I'm sure the players will be up for that. No, it was going to be a fully pre-planned pre-season, according to Kevin, and we then also got the fact that he was taking accountability for what had happened across the season. I won't read the open letter out because I'm sure you can all go to the town website and read it for yourself if you haven't. Plus, it's very long. But it was an open letter, Cow, and I thought it was a good open letter, to be fair, knowing the fact that we were going to get the diary in the next day after that. So, I mean, what were your thoughts firstly on the open letter?
I believe this may be the first time today that we disagree.
Right.
I thought
the stream has ended.
Oh, wow. I thought the open letter was quite a lot of unnecessary buzzwords all put together for no particular reason at all.
Right. Go on.
It was like you could have summed that up in one tweet. You could have said everything that you said in that massive open letter in one tweet. The rest of it was just waffle.
Okay.
Unnecessary. It didn't need to be said. That isn't to say that the diary was the same. I actually thought the diary was much, much better, and I would prefer more of that and less of the open letter. We're all together in this, guys. You know, just tell us that we're going on a pre-season tour of Austria.
Yeah.
That were it.
Yeah, I mean, he did. To be fair to him, he did take accountability, and I think he reiterated that in the diary, which we'll speak about in a moment. I think he gave us a little bit of something with the Austria trip. He obviously wanted to. I think the big news that he wanted to have for the diary was the fact that Andre was either going to be. Well, I think he wanted Andre to stay, but obviously that it didn't really happen over like that. And so he got this situation where he had to sort of say something new in the open letter, knowing the fact that they were going to film the diary the next day. And then on to the diary itself, Cal. I thought the diary was pretty good. I thought, there were parts of it where a little bit concerning because, Dave, Carmichael Dave, I think didn't quite understand the funding question necessarily, but that's these are sometimes difficult things to understand, and I don't get accountancy and all that sort of business. So I've looked into the club accounts and things like that, but it's not necessarily easy to read them if you're not around that sort of information all the time. So I'm not going to really. I know some fans have picked up on it, and it is slightly concerning, but it's not really. That's not his job to be an accountant. So I'm going to let him off with that. But I thought overall, Cal, the diary was okay. I thought I didn't mind what was said, to be fair.
I didn't mind what was said. I think it needed to be done. We needed that clarity. And you know what? Fair play for actually answering some of them questions because he didn't need to. How often have we seen managers that have no accountability or feel as though they owe nothing to the fans, whereas it's quite obvious that Kevin feels that he owes something to the fans, be that honesty and accountability or whatever else. I just think there needs to be a more rigid way of communicating this news than a video diary every couple of weeks. To keep us up to, especially at a time like this where things are changing constantly. We're looking for a new manager. We're looking for new players. We're going to another division. Keep us updated with things that are going on at the club. It helps build that sort of feel-good factor or just any sort of confidence around the squad. Like, I remember when Town went up, when we went up to the Prem, you know, feel-good factor was already sky high, and the club were communicating every single new sponsor board that they put in at the stadium.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, that stuff like that is just get it on, just show the progress, just things are changing.
Yeah.
Show things are changing. It will work wonders. It just seems like we're a bit scattergun in our PR at the minute. It's like, oh, we'll put season tickets out, and then we'll do a diary, and then we'll sack the manager, and then we might do another diary, but we might not.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's consistency. And that's something that just needs to be improved. But, you know, I've always remained of this opinion. It is far better to have a chairman like what Kevin's trying to do in terms of his communication than what, say, Chancery is doing at Sheffield Wednesday, where he puts out statements of absolute nothing, just wild statements about anything that he can just get off his chest, and do you know, or a chairman that never even communicates at all.
Yeah, we've seen it before in football, haven't we? Where you've got clubs with horrific owners, and that's meant that some teams have gone to the wall before. You know, I don't remember his name, but the guy that was at Bury killed them. So yeah, well, we can sit and debate whether we should have a video diary more than once a month, but at the end of the day, at least he's not like those guys. So
Yeah.
you know, I'm overall the picture and the feeling is good at the minute. It's an important decision, this next manager. We said that about the last one, and
I think we've said that last 5 times, haven't we?
Some could say that he got it wrong, you know, in that appointment. But to be fair, I don't think he could have appointed anyone that would have kept us up.
No, I don't either.
I think we were too far gone at that point.
Yeah, the damage under Moore had already been done, hadn't it?
Yeah, so
I mean, the damage really, interestingly, might have been done even in last pre-season under Warnock, if it is to be believed what went on.
I agree completely. I think if that's fitness was the concern for the entire season, and now it's clear why we weren't fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not going to say that he made a mistake when he appointed Andre. I think that they did a rigorous job application process, whatever, as they should. You know, it was a championship football club. But this appointment really is sort of massively important, because I don't want us to be in League One at Christmas having just sacked a manager sitting 12th.
No. It's got to be right, hasn't it? And I think we're both on the same mindset of, if we can get Liam Rosenior, go get him. You slightly disagree on the Nigel Pearson element. I'm not seeing many more interesting names out there.
I wouldn't disagree with having him as a manager, but when Liam Rosenior's on the table, or if he even is on the table, I know which one I'm going for.
Yeah, 100%. Right. Well, I think we're going to just about come to the end. Callum, is there anything else that you would like to say within what's happened in the last crazy sort of 5 days of being a Huddersfield Town fan?
I'd just like to say maybe the most hilarious thing I have ever seen was Mr. Kevin Nagle calling out fans individually in his diary for things that they'd said on Twitter. I think that was really quite funny.
Yeah, it was
terrible thing to do, and you should definitely never do it again. But it was very funny, considering Ginger Ogre is one of my very good mates.
Yeah, it was an interesting part of the diary for sure. Thanks to everybody for watching. We've had probably more live viewers than we've ever had before for a Town special. So all of you that have viewed in, thank you very much for being with us for this hour in the afternoon. And cheers for everybody commenting too. We've had some laughs. We've not quite cried yet, but that might be to come when we announce Mark Hughes as manager in the next 2 days. But thanks once again to Callum. Cheers, mate, for coming on.
No worries. Pleasure as always.
Sunny afternoon, and we hope everybody has a good rest of the week, and we'll see what happens in the coming days. But it's been me. Go check out the channel, by the way. Steve's done a podcast with Adam Pope on BBC Radio Leeds about Leeds in the playoffs. So go check that out. We also went to Emily v Parkgate the other night at Scunthorpe United. Unfortunately, Emily lost 3-0 to Parkgate, but we did do a sort of a day diary. So please go check that out on the YouTube. Remember, give the channel a like and subscribe, and give the video a like and share, please. And follow us on all social media channels. You can also check us out on Spotify. We're trying to get the listens up there, so if you can give the Spotify channel a share, that will be amazing too. But I've been Stephen Downs. It's been Callum Scott, and we'll see you once again for a Huddersfield Town special very, very soon. See you later.